Hi there, it's Melanie Folkes-Mayers from Eden Mayers HR Consulting to keep you out of trouble and delivering your passion. So hello. I am back again with another tip on working with your team. So today I want to talk to you about building trust. Now, building trust is really vitally important, and there are quite a few reasons why it's important. So we know as business owners, everyone talks about the know you, like you, trust you effect. And the same thing applies to your employees. So they want to get to know you, they want to get to like you, they want to get to trust you. And that helps when you're asking them to do stuff, when you're asking them to go over and above what they normally do, when you are trying to take them with you on the journey as you build your business. So it's really vital that you take the time, not just to do the know, like and trust stuff with your clients and potential clients, but that you also do it with your staff. Now, there are several ways that this can be done. One of the big things that I say is that you have to be your word. Now, I remember, when I was working corporately, one of the biggest challenges I had with one of my managers was the fact that he would always delay speaking to me for something else. So basically, we would have a standing weekly call, and 9 times out of 10 they'd be rescheduled, they'd be moved, or they'd be cancelled with the promise that they'd be rearranged, but it wouldn't happen. And so from my point of view, I lost trust in the fact that that person was going to be there for me to give me the support and advice I needed. And it also meant that rather than me holding things back until that weekly meeting, if something came up, I would just, shoot an email, make a call, send a text message, because I really never knew when I would get to talk to him again, when I would actually get that time that I needed. So, and it damaged the relationship in two ways. So one, I didn't have really much trust in the fact that he had my back and he would be there for me. But the other part of it was, it meant that rather than me going with a solution focused around an issue, I only ever went, or when I sorted something out, I really only ever spoke to him when there was an emergency. So it was only when when I tried everything I could try and it wouldn't work, that was the point in time when I go to him. So it meant that we had this relationships where I was going to him to help me without really trusting that he would, and sometimes he did and sometimes he didn't. And so from a point of view, that kind of broke down a relationship, and eventually, he wasn't the only reason why I left, but eventually I decided to move on because that wasn't really a healthy situation. So the thing that I wanted to really say to you is that you need to build that trust with your employees. They need to know that you've got their back. So for example, when I was, all the times when I've been managing a team, if someone came to me and complained to me about a member of my staff, I wouldn't go straight to them and have it out with them and blame them. I would want to find out what happened from their point of view, like a good investigation if you're doing a grievance or disciplinary, that I would go and find out what happened, I would find out what the challenges they had, what kind of conversations they had, and as a back of that, then I could then go back and speak to that person. I could fix the situation. If there was an issue with my team member, then I'd talk to them about what they ought to do differently and what they should do next time, and we work on building that relationship with that client or stakeholder. Sometimes what often happens is that, especially when you run your own business, if you do have a client or a customer that has an issue, because it's your business baby, you're more likely to take it to be very sensitive and to go, to kind of go all guns blazing to find out what happened, rather than giving that person the opportunity to let you know what happened, so you can see actually who may or may not have been at fault. And I think that can also cause a lot of issues when it comes to trust, because if people feel that you don't listen to what they have to say, that you jump to conclusions, that they'll feel that they can't speak to you, they feel that they can't tell you anything. And I definitely remember being in situations where there were particular managers where if there was a problem, you almost waited until they left the room before you would discuss it among your colleagues, because you knew the moment you started talking about it, they'd get involved and they'd get irate, and rather than giving you the opportunity to diffuse a situation that might have just started to smoulder, they would make it smoulder and make it worse. So again, it meant that rather than trusting that you could share your problems and you could find a solution together, it meant that you felt alone, that you had to find a solution. And obviously that isn't great. As a manager, you really want to know what's happening with your team. If you're in a situation where you're also being managed, the worst thing is if your senior person finds out something that you don't know because your staff are too afraid to tell you. So it's really vitally important to make sure that you build that rapport, that you're building that relationship, that you're building that trust. So we talked about rapport yesterday, that you're building that trust with them, and they know that they can come to you and talk to you, and that you will listen and hear them out, and that you will take their suggestions on board. So that's the other big thing, is that you have to remember that yes, you know loads of things, but your team members also know lots of things. So it's always great to take advice from them. It's also great to ask them their opinion on things before you go forward. And and I know you can't always do that. Sometimes you have to just go ahead. But if you can do that, that also builds that trust, because they feel that you trust their opinion, that you respect them, and all of those things go on to build that relationship. So you need to just take your time to build your trust with your team. So that means being aware, that means being where you said you're going to be, having the meetings you said you were going to have, when you schedule things in with them. That yes, obviously emergencies happen, it happens to everybody. It could be that there's an issue with a client, or it could be that there's an issue at home. The point is that should be the exception, not the rule. And when you do things like that you apologise, that you don't take it as read that it's okay with them. Because they would have taken time to prepare for that meeting. They would have taken time to compose themselves if they had something difficult to tell you. So it's really important that you take that time to build that trust of your staff, that they know that you'll be where you said you'll be, that you've got their backs, and that they can depend on you, and that they can come to you in all honesty, even when they have messed up. And that rather than you focusing on the fact that they've messed up, you'll be able to focus on finding a solution and making sure that doesn't happen again. So I hope you found this really useful. I'll be sharing another tip tomorrow. And if you need any help from us around how you build your manager, your leadership muscle, do get in touch. Our link will be in the comments box below, or in the description box below rather. Feel free to just contact us, and we can have a chat around how we can help you to build your leadership and management muscle. Okay, have a great day now. Bye.